Welcome to Auntie K's, your favorite radical queer indigenous auntie, bringing you tarot every day. Hello and welcome to Auntie K's Tarot and happy winter solstice. It's after midnight, so happy winter solstice. We are going to be looking at the Star Wars Tarot, and we are going to be looking at the second half of the Wands, and we're quickly going to have a little solstice tour because I'm excited about it. Okay. In the morning, we are having guests over. We are having feasts, games, sweets, gifts. Our guest list got cut in half, so there's going to be 7 people coming, and that's because some folks were sick, and we're not going to share sicknesses at a time when people are really hoping to see those they call family. It's important to keep in touch and be like, hey, this is going on around on the family down here, and so that's how that's going. So I'm going to share for you all set up and ready to go for solstice. Puppy is sitting with me. Her name is Moshte, and which is sunshine. The cats and I aren't getting along very well in terms of live plants, fake plants. My fireplace looks cluttered to me to try and keep cats off. I need a lot of hooks and things, I guess. The rest of the TV stuff is being put away in the morning. My youngest and I, we're not morning people. Okay, most of my kids, we're not morning people. And so our morning is have something to drink, really light to break the fasting of the night, and just zone out for an hour until we're ready, 2 people with each other and then the world. So the gifts are reorganized. Usually we open all our gifts at night, but not knowing how late that might go, we're actually going to open ones that he's going to open his in the morning, but save one for gift exchange with everyone else. We are set up for games. Apparently, there's uncertainty where Timeline Twist Star Wars is right now. I don't know if I 100% believe it, but maybe it's hidden because no one wants to play Star Wars Timeline Twist with me. Not that I'm perfect at it, but more than my children. So we've got Uno All Wilds, Timeline Twist, Matchify Among Us, Sushi Go, Slamwich, Star Wars, Boba Fett Monopoly, Funky Fungi, and Hoard the Hams. Hoard the Hams was my kid's first Kickstarter pick. I'm going to be setting up desserts over here. We've got candied orange peels and cranberries and orange slices. And we have orange shortbread stars. We've got a cookie tree that's got gingerbread, orange shortbread, and candy cane. I'll throw a picture up of this and of the bread, and then veggies ready to roast. The turkey at the final stage of the dry brine. Pretty excited about all of that. Okay, let's get back. All right, so we are going to look at the 8 of Wands, and it's one of those cards you can just phone in. And since I'm not putting lightsabers in the wand suit, so it's not to create confusion when you're looking at the cards, I was like, what am I going to do for 8 wands? And so I decided to go with the Tuscan Gaffy sticks. And this just makes the card more visually interesting. I added the leaves. I've done that throughout the wands suit. So we're back on Tatooine. So we have 2 sons. Tatooine doesn't have a river. There are 4 oases, but it doesn't have a river. So we have a hazy mirage going on instead of an actual river. And I had fun creating and putting together 8 different gaffy sticks. And I hope folks really enjoy them. I thought it makes the 8 of Wands interesting while still making a clone deck. So I was quite proud of that. For the 9 of Wands, we have Baze Malbus at the Battle of Scarif on Scarif. The sand stands in for the gray flat ground. We see the tops of the palm trees instead of the tops of regular green trees. And we have the wands in here. For Baze, he has the staff that he uses. And it looks like a wand, but because it is a wooden staff with metal attachments. So I made it look like a wand, but with the metal attachments and the leaves. And we've got some of the stuff, the cargo and things laying around on Scarif in there to help place where you are. His clothes are, look in rough shape, and I think that came out really well in this. I think it came out really well. The pose does cover up some of his whole gear going on in his chest, but I was able to do it so we can see some of it. And that is the 9 of Wands. For the 10 of Wands, we have Wing on Corvus. So at one point, Wing was an elected leader of Corvus. And then Morgan Elspeth comes along and takes over Corvus. She's got a bunch of corporations and stuff like that. And so she's just destroying the world for resources, and has enslaved the population, including Wing, who initially thought that if they were good and peaceful, this new occupation would treat them well, and it wasn't. And he carried the burden of his decisions and his actions when faced with this incredibly armed foe, right? To be fair. And so he carried the burden of this. And so I thought this made Wing a really good stand-in. Now, Corvus has been environmentally destroyed, so we don't have the greenery going on in the background. I did give up that for this. we have the walled city of Corvus, and some of the higher rooftops peak up in a similar fashion to some of those trees. All right, and then we are on to the court cards. All right, so for my Page of Wands, we have Rose Tico at the Battle of Crate on Crate. I knew I wanted to use Rose. I didn't know where I was going to use Rose. I had her potentially placed in a variety of different places. And I ultimately decided the best fit was the Page of Wands. She is adventurous. She is passionate. She stands for what she believes in. A type of heart that Wands folk have, which, you know, makes the King of Wands like a really nice person in comparison to some of the other kings. So she has this quality too. And with the landscape of Crate, I was able to do the Page of Wands landscape here, which is really orange and it's got some mountains. So Crate's mountains that the Rebel base is hidden in is gray mountains, but in the landscapes is kind of yellow, but there's like red salt. I think it's salt. I'm not describing this well. They use their ships to stir up these huge, massive red salt clouds as a part of the battle on Crate. I thought this tactic was a good visual for the Page of Wands. The Knight of Wands. I decided all my knights were going to be pilots of some form and piloting their ships. But for some of their ships, it didn't really work. So in the case of the Knight of Wands, which is Grizz Fricks, who rides a T-65 X-Wing Starfighter on Gerard 5. He is not in his X-Wing because we wouldn't see enough of him to be able to recreate the Knight of Wands. So he's riding it like it's a spaceship in the grocery store, the shopping mall that in my day you put a quarter in and you would ride and it would shake around. So it's kind of got that bit of a visual going on. I took off one of the weapons from his X-Wing, one of the shooters, and made it his wand. I think it works. And I think this is pretty fun. And there was only so many folks from the original series who fit a World Majority deck. And I'm glad I got to use one of the pilots, Grizz Fritz here for the Knight of Wands. I had so much fun with this one here. So for the Queen of Wands, we have Dr. Aphra on Arbiflux, and she spent part of her childhood there. We have her childhood Loth cat sitting here instead of a black cat. I was able to use the landscape of Arbiflux to recreate this yellow and gray landscape in the Queen of Wands. This very harsh, pretty desolate landscape. So Dr. Aphra, there's a charm. Everybody who reads Dr. Aphra is a Dr. Aphra fan. Just one, you'll be hooked, I promise. And that's all it took. And there's this charm that makes her the Queen of Wands. But she's not a good guy. She's kind of an anti-hero. So she's also an archaeologist or a raider of treasure, depends how you see it. She's an archaeologist, and so her wand, I've got like a spade on the bottom of it, and in the Queen of Wands, there's these two lions like fighting each other, and so I did two mega cats in like the same kind of pose, but because she's an archaeologist, I did like the bones of two mega cats, which I think looks great. And then instead of two lions coming out from under the arms of the throne, I put two mega cats. So I created this throne to be the Queen of Wands throne, because we don't have a Dr. Aphra throne. It's the Queen of Wands, and that card was a lot of fun to make. So for the King of Wands, we have Fee Genoa on Pabu, and I felt like she was a good stand-in for the King of Wands. The attitude, the strength, the charisma, the kindness, the bravery, it works really well. I put some flowers from Pabu on the throne in recreating this throne that we see in the King of Wands. Pabu's got a good variety of landscapes, so I was able to be like, oh, this fits, and I'm going to zoom in on it a lot too. And so I thought Pigeonot was a good fit, and we got our little amphibious stand-in for a salamander creature. All right, so that is the wand suit, and up next we will do the beginning of the cups. So everybody, have an amazing solstice, an amazing holiday of whatever you celebrate, and I will see you all later.